Yeah, so we're here. We got 7 students this class, and Daniel's been living here on the island for a while. So, and you named your farm that you're working on Ishmael Farm, right?
Yep. Ishmaels forest farming is what I call my farming project. My farming journey was inspired by the book Ishmael, so I wanted to dedicate it to that idea, the concepts shared in that book. And I also don't feel like it's my farm necessarily. Like I don't feel like the land or the food necessarily belongs to me. It's something to be shared with my brothers and sisters, and so yeah, that's why I gave it that name.
So, if I was just rereading Ishmael because I know that's what you named your farm after, and I remember listening to that book as an audiobook,
Hmm.
and it's about like this gorilla that informs man about his just contemplations of like captivity.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. A telepathic gorilla communicating with his human student. But yeah, a lot of the concepts are about our cultural mythologies, um, the mythology of man, how man was created to rule Earth. It does point out a lot of kind of the Christian parables of creationism, and how they kind of got lost in translation. I mean, a lot of, at least in the Western world, a lot of our culture is informed by Christian mythology. Partly that is the most prominent religion, but even the way non-religious people live their lives, still kind of dominating, living beyond nature. And I find that our culture has kind of divorced itself from nature. Um, but I also believe that there are these inherent laws of nature that can't be ignored. They're very hard to define, but there is some presence of that. Like we don't ignore the laws of physics, but we choose as mankind to ignore a lot of the laws of nature. And yeah, that's always just been a fascinating premise to me, and what our role is and what our mythology that we've created is. So,
So you named your farm after this, like because you see, like, what do you want to express with it?
what I'm what I'm looking to express, or what I'm feeling the desire to express, is to demonstrate a way to live more alongside nature, one with nature, reunited with nature. That's kind of what my life path has gone down, is to become a part of nature again, and not above it and beyond it and controlling of it. Playing my part as a steward of the earth. I believe that on a higher level, that's partly what man is here to do, is to we are one of the few beings that have this conscious mind to make decisions about what we do. And yeah, I just want to set an example of you know this reuniting with nature, being a steward of the earth instead of taking from it.
And you've been doing KNF since like almost
Over
a
a year.
year.
Yeah,
Yeah,
over a year now. Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, and for me, KNF has been a huge inspiration. I've been into farming for a little over a year, but learning about KNF, um, it's like sparked a passion for me for like how I want to farm and how I want to cultivate the land.
Mm.
And ever since I learned about it, I've been putting it to practice, and honing in my skills. Yeah. Yeah, I like it because there's minimal outside inputs. A little bit of sugar here, a little bit of herbs that maybe I'm not growing, but for the most part, I'm taking things from the land and putting it back into the land. I'm not relying on purchasing fertilizers in a bag or a bottle, and spending outrageous amounts of money, because that's a hindrance for a lot of us. But yeah, fertilizing my plants with FPJ, using lab as a fungicide and as a protector for the plants. Um, all these things have been huge, and compared to what I've seen and even experienced with conventional farming tactics. Experiencing a bit of conventional farming, I see that it's very much at war with nature. And I don't want to be at war with nature. It makes my life more difficult,
Mm,
and I'm also, deteriorating the land in the process.
mm, 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 mm. Oh, yeah, yeah. I mean, that's, when I found KNF, I see that, the challenges that are arising for us in uh, like nature, and making the food nutrient density diminishing in largely available food. You were saying it's like food like products.
Oh yeah, that most of what most humans eat, most quote unquote civilized humans eat is food like products if you look at what's sold in the store. But if you look at conventional farming, it's the same thing. These chemical fertilizers, it's not natural food for these plants. It's a food like product. So we're feeding ourselves plants that didn't even receive proper nutrition themselves, and therefore are less nutritious for us.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Don't shop in the center of the grocery store.
Yeah. Yeah, whenever you go on a diet, they tell you just shop on the outside of the store. They're going down the aisles. And the reason for that is because the aisles are all full of junk. But that's those are staples in a lot of diets, all these processed foods that are made with, GMO products, and even if it's non-GMO, just the processed food, like your body's not used to accepting that. You're not receiving the right nutrients out of it, and they're void of nutrients, in a lot of ways. It's you're getting, like we get, like conventional farmers throw out nitrogen, potassium, phosphorus, that we're just getting thrown protein, carbs, and fat, but we're missing a lot of
Mm.
the micronutrients.
Yeah, I'd never even contemplated that idea of that, like similar, like it's not these complete things, it's these things that we just like combined and then put out there. And it's like, oh, this is what's essential for life, when it's so nature kind of actually was closer to what's like essential for life going on.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Feel a lot of that, of just this here, people around the world finding these solutions, feeling the same liberation. And you're about to have a baby
Mhm.
and be like, passing this on. So it's like even more like, do you feel your responsibility growing now?
Absolutely. That was the biggest wake up call. I mean, since I've been farming, I've been jumping around from farm to farm, helping out friends and whatnot. But yeah, now it's like, okay, I want to first of all have a safe, stable place for my family, but also pass down this knowledge. A lot of I've been listening to some podcasts, and a lot of conventional farmers practice such things because it's what's been passed down to them. Where I have the opportunity to pass down this knowledge of natural farming, regenerative farming, eating natural foods as opposed to processed foods, or these conventionally farmed foods that are lacking in nutrition. So yeah, this definitely a big wake up call. But in addition to teaching my child and my family, I also want to teach anyone who's willing to listen. I definitely intend my farm to be a teaching farm as well, both online and in person, to because I want to share. I've always been, in leadership roles in every job I've had and whatnot. So if I can be a leader in a way that'll benefit people's lives, benefit the planet, you know, um, and I'm not out there to save the planet. The planet's going to be fine with or without us. But I do want to, do my part to sustain life, sustain my life, my family's life, my community's life.